Today I like to talk about the books that I have been reading, but I couldn't finish, so I set aside and come back again and start reading. I think all these books that I have been reading simultaneously are all very very fun to read, interesting and joy. But for some reason I have to set aside because I get bored or maybe I get tired of reading one particular book. But I don't understand that. But I used to be more or less like a one book at a time person. And I finished one book, even though it's kind of tedious and tiring. In the middle, I kind of persevere finishing it. And but now I kind of set aside and then go into different books and so forth. And then I enjoy that, and then set aside another book. So multiple books I have been reading for a while, maybe, like 3 or 4 months to like 5 months or 6 months maybe. But anyway, so I like to talk about those books that I have been reading. I cannot do whole reviews or anything, but this book is In Praise of Walking by Shane O'Mara, and I think I talked about it a little bit before. About this is about walking, benefits of walking, and the history of walking, and science of walking, and how to study walking, and all these things. And very, very enjoyable, interesting read here. And I just about toward the end, and I still enjoy this. And this one, what we talk about when we talk about love, by Raymond Carver. This book is I got kind of interested because Haruki Murakami. I loved this book. I think one of the books he was influenced when he was young is this book, and I think he translated to Japanese this particular book here. So yeah, I had to read this, and very very nice, enjoyable. But just one story I finished and I set aside. This book, Trail. This book came through my, I think, Amazon feed that I was looking for like a hiking book or something because of the Bill Bryson's Walk in the Woods. And so I got to know this. This is by Ethan Gallagher. I think he's a Californian. I think he's somewhere in California University's professor. But he wrote this book, and it says a novel. That means this is a fiction, even though this is a very very detailed hiking of John Muir Trail. So evidently the author did the John Muir Trail hiking, and he's an advocate of all the Sierra Nevada John Muir Trail hiking or the outdoor activities. So I think he's very very familiar with those hiking, and also he did probably many times hiked the John Muir Trail. So this as a novel, it starts with this guy who is naive, young, college dropout, who the protagonist of this narrates the whole entire story. So this protagonist is more or less like I don't know much about anything, and he had a father who passed away a while ago, and ever since then he had this guilty feeling and psychologically affected. And then his father's friend, an older friend, who had a cancer, a terminal, cancer, and asked him to accompany him to go to the John Muir Trail for him for the first time. And this friend has a experience of hiking with his father a while ago. So he knows about this friend. They are great, close friend, father, and so he decided to join without knowing much about hiking. And so it starts from that. But what I noticed is he depicts this protagonist as a very naive, not knowing anything, very stupid type of person, and which I feel kind of a little bit resistant, because it's too much of this stupidity of this particular protagonist. And but other people, this father's friends and other hikers he meets along the way, is very, very smart and intelligent. Intelligent in the sense that very, very education, college educated, or somewhat more self-educated maybe, and to the point where they are the expert or something. And so that's kind of interesting. That says that this author is a very, very intelligent person, but when he decided to write this particular book, he put this particular protagonist as a kind of a naive person. So this is about halfway I went through. Okay, and this is William Duhan, Journey Through Genius. This is a mathematical book, mathematical history of geometry and algebra, talking about who proved that particular theorem or whatever. So it's very, very mathematical book. So I read those fictions and non-fictions, but kind of tired of those content, and I go back to this mathematics books, and it's very, very nice. I still enjoy, but this is very, very few pages in the beginning, but very, very good. Bill Bryson's book, another book, it's called A Short History of Nearly Everything. And this is, I got to like Bill Bryson's book, and I started to buy all his books. And so this is another book that he talks about this creation of a universe and earth and history of this material, how material came to be. And so that I thought that was very, very interesting. So I started reading. That's a very, very good book, but probably 10% I read that. Finally, this book is One Straw Revolution. I just received this book. I haven't read this one yet. This is about like a permaculture, growing of the produce and the rice and so forth, from Japanese guy, Masanobu Fukuoka, and One Straw Revolution. And so this is, I don't know, it's how you do grow things for food, but without using pesticide, herbicides, or fertilizer even, or even you don't cultivate the soil, and a very, very natural way of growing things. And he writes about that is also more productive than use all the chemical. And so I think this is about, call it Zen and the art of farming. And so I'm kind of excited to read this. So anyway, so I became, established this habits of reading a multiple book simultaneously, and that sometimes I think it's good because my personality is you get into something very, very hard, and then you got bored, and then go to the next one, and so forth. So it fits my reading style. I used to read really one book at a time, but you don't have to be that way. I think you are free to give up even reading books and then go to the new book or whatever. So I kind of experimented this particular attitude. The one thing that I noticed is that summertime is a very good time for reading because outside it's very, very hot. And if you go outside, it's like temperature is about 100 degrees. Of course, you don't walk outside. You stay in the shade or inside the room where it's conditioned and start to read that, and that's kind of a nice habit. Winter time, of course, you cannot go outside, so you read books. But the other conflicting idea is that, yeah, of course, you have to go outside and walk, right? I established the walking habits. And so that's kind of a conflict. Reading and walking outside is conflicting. But I have to manage the working time. Okay, bye.